Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of Peace of My Mind. You know, only 3% of podcasts make it past episode 3, so this is going to be the real selling point. Uh, I've got some news I could cover right now, but right now I got to deal with these assholes who are trying to attack my base. I'm not prepared for this. Never mind. So, apparently, and then I'll pull up the tab here in a minute once I'm safe. As of December, we added 50,000 new jobs, which brings the unemployment rate down to 4.4%, which I completely don't believe because I found another article saying that the job expectations for 2026 are at an all-time low. Now, it's not unlike the Trump administration to find ways to lie about labor statistics, so I think that's exactly what's going on here. I don't have any wood. I can't make a shield. I am unprepared for this. I need to go get wood. I need to sleep. That's what needs to happen first. Can't sleep at night or during thunderstorms. I'll hang out up here. So let me pull that out. So we got this article right here. On Friday, the U.S. Labor Department reported U.S. employees added 50,000 jobs in December, while employment rate declined to 4.4%. Let's see if we can find a left-wing... Okay, let's see what this says. Job growth has stopped. Recession fears stoked as latest economic numbers lag behind. The last job reports for 2025 have been released, and the numbers don't look great for President Donald Trump. Ooh, okay. The U.S. economy added 50,000 jobs in December, a slight improvement over a plunge in October and a slight rebound in November. And the unemployment rate fell to 4.4% after creeping upwards for months. Wall Street had expected a gain of 70,000 jobs. So we're behind on our goal. And measured unemployment was slightly lower than 4.5% they had projected. Wall Street trumpeted his vile arts for quoting about the... Okay. That's another thing that we can talk about. The Labor Department reported that most of the gains were food services, healthcare, and social assistance, while most of the losses came in retail, trade, and manufacturing sectors. Okay, here's something. The U.S. economy added only 50,000 jobs in December and a meager 4,000 jobs in all of 2025, reported Heather Long, chief economist for Navy Federal Credit Union. That's the worst year for job gains outside of a recession since 2003, and nearly 85% of the job gains happened by April. There was a little hiring the rest of the year. Unemployment rate 4.4 in December, up from 4% in January. So the unemployment rate in total increased across the year. I have not been doing this long enough to know whether 0.4 is a significant amount that I should care about, but it is something worth noting, I guess. Now, in a video that should be coming out 2 weeks before this goes out, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm recording these ahead of time because I want to be able to enjoy the beginning of my year. So I'm creating a backlog. So some of my news is going to be outdated, and we're just going to have to deal with that for a little bit. I'm trying to find timeless news, but I'm recording this the same week that... What's her name? Renee Nicole. Don't forget her name. Renee Nicole Good has been killed by an ICE officer. And oh my god, am I getting a lot of negative comments about that. She was not trying to hit him. She was trying to escape. Apparently a three-point turn is a crime now. I should not have let myself get away from my sapling planting habits. This is bad. I'm going to go over and snag one of those trees real quick. I just need enough wood to make a shield. So I'm recording this the same week that Renee Nicole was killed by ICE. It's a situation so terrible that it's absurd that anyone could try to defend it. In fact, their police force, the same police force that had killed George Floyd back in 2020, is helping the citizens protest. Last night, as I'm recording this, it's the 9th today, so I guess the night of the 8th, they did No Sleep for ICE, which is a form of protest where they go to whatever hotel ICE is staying at and they make noise all night so they can't sleep. Well, they got a noise complaint called on them, and when the police showed up, they decided to just leave their sirens wailing all night. So there is bipartisan support to kick ICE out of the city, which is a good thing. Okay, I believe a shield is this recipe. Darn. Okay, what is it? I was so close. And I know how to make a sword, so I'll just do that. Okay, cool. Now I'm prepared to take those assholes on. Where'd you go? Come back here. And they'll take a minute. So read this while we fight. Job finding expectations hit all-time low. New York Fed survey shows. Americans are slightly more bullish about 2026, but no... Come on. Come here. But no expectations have worsened across all age and education levels. Delinquency expectations have risen to the highest level since the start of the pandemic. Okay, now they're on their way. With increase most pronounced among certain groups. Roughly 175 million consumers have credit cards, with about 60% of all credit card users having revolving debt, widening the divide in the bifurcated consumer economy. That's a word. If I just stand here, they'll kill themselves eventually. Exactly, like that. Bow, bow. American Grow pessimistic on jobs. I'm not going to be able to click on one of these articles until these guys are dead. Hurt yourself. Hurt yourself. Exactly. Hell yeah. Ta-da! Oh, here we go. Something directly related to the jobs report. Okay, so this is just nothing. Oh, there's a read more. Okay, this is nothing. How the stock market may react to... Here's a fun one. I mean, it's not fun that people are concerned about work, but this should give me plenty of insight for the podcast. U.S. workers express doubt if they can find a new job if they get laid off. Americans are growing more and more anxious about both inflation and the job market. According to the latest consumer survey from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, Americans are growing more and more anxious about job inflation and new job markets, according to the latest consumer survey from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. I need to learn how to read punctuation better. As Bloomberg writes, respondents now expect prices to rise 3.4% over the next year, up from 3.2% in November. While confidence in finding a new job has fallen to its lowest level in survey's history, just 43.1% of consumers say they believe that they could secure another job if they lost their current one, underscoring mounting unease about labor market conditions. So for those of you that don't live in America, losing your job here is more or less a death sentence. There is no backup plan besides hope and pray. But even then, that doesn't really work, because sometimes you'll wait 2 months for a response from McDonald's just for them to say no, if they respond at all. Because a lot of time when they say no, they will not respond at all. So you just don't know that you're not getting a job. It's quite the terrible market to live in. What was I doing? I was going to make pickaxes. I'm going to go find some iron. This is for, obviously, I need armor, one, but the excavation project. And also, talking while mining is one of the easier things to do. I'm going to go explore the mine near my excavation project. I also need to take care of my farm sometime this episode. Because if that doesn't start producing a net increase of food for every time I farm it, it's not going to be worth having. Now let's grab this coal. What does it take to make an armor stand? I can't search that up here. Is there any iron in here? Do I have... I can make torches. So let's make some torches. Nothing. Let's go down the death hole, I guess. The findings deepen a policy dilemma facing the Federal Reserve, as some officials remain focused on inflation while others see growing risk of rising unemployment. Consumers are also increasingly stressed about their finances, which the perceived probability of missing a minimum debt payment increases over the next 3 months, jumping to 15.3%, the highest level since early in the pandemic. I was talking about it, I mean, even if they had the jobs available, back to what I was saying, on a video I was making should be 3 weeks ago now, unless something happens to my upload schedule. Actually, farming's my next highest priority. Let's go do that. I was saying that, like, there is a labor shortage, too. You know, where people decide they don't want to work and no one wants to work anymore, so, quote-unquote. My argument is I would still be working for McDonald's if they paid enough for me to live. There was a point in history where McDonald's offered a pension. You could work for McDonald's for 20 years, and they would give you a pension plan that would pay for you to live the rest of your life. Pensions aren't a thing America does anymore, and especially not at McDonald's. If McDonald's, by far my favorite job that I've worked so far, if they had paid a livable wage, I would still be there. I've got to keep quitting jobs that I like to keep finding jobs that pay me enough to live. That's the American process. If you think that there is a shortage of people who want to work, maybe you should look intrinsically and see if it's worth working for you. Because if the people who keep hoarding their wealth don't do something about the fact that it's not worth working for them, eventually they're not going to have people generating wealth for them anymore. If you treat your workers like shit, the best you can do is like a couple months to maybe a couple years where someone's actually willing to work for you without, you know, being able to survive. But eventually, something's going to come up, and they're going to realize you're not worth working for, and they're going to quit. And you're going to blame them, but it's really all on you. Because there should be no reason that any of our current bosses can't pay us enough to live. We could solve world hunger so many times over, it's as easy as choosing to. But we don't choose to do that for some god-awful reason. Oh yeah, that's enough seeds to get this farm really going. Oh no! I need to do something about that. So I can go as far as, I think, 4 from any water source, and it'll still... the ground will still irrigate. So I should be able to go through all this, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 up there. That should all irrigate properly. This should irrigate. This should irrigate. Yeah. Let's move you. And let's plant all this newly irrigated ground. Do I still have my bucket on me? No, I must have put that away. Or lost it. I could have lost it. I'm gonna put a crafting table out here. Why not? Make it easier to make wheat. Or make bread. I need to dump my inventory. Let's start working on a cobblestone chest. This is the start of our organization. Hell yeah. And everything else can get back dumped in here. Yeah, fuck it, man. I'm gonna go looking for another article. New Jersey phone ban signed into law by Governor Murphy. The state budget allocated $3 million in grants to support phone-free schools, but local school boards determine how to implement the ban. The current cell phone policies and punishments vary widely by school districts, with some requiring phones to be off and out of sight, and others providing storage locations. So at Amazon, when I worked at Amazon, they provided a storage location. And that was about as effective as you think it was. Do I have an axe? I do have an axe. Cool. I'm going to go take down that super tree while I look at other things. This is going to give me, like, no saplings. I need to be building up. Oops. This is why I always build my tree farm in a pit, because then I can just drop on top of it. Instead of having to climb up it like this. But we're getting there. It's a slow process because I'm taking the right kind of detours that I can have time to actually talk about things. But when I was at Amazon, they provided a safe location to store our phones, and everyone just said that they were there and kept them in their pocket or their purse or their whatever. And as long as it wasn't seen, it was effectively the same. Now, I imagine that's a lot different at a high school. And it's probably even easier to get away with at a high school, because you can always claim that you just don't have a phone, because some parents still do that. But I do not agree with the concept of a phone ban, because a phone is a tool that can be used, if used correctly, in schools. I think the issue is that they aren't being used correctly. How do you mitigate that? Probably a phone ban. Because we all got away just fine without them before as well. I'm going to see if I do get any saplings from this. Highly factual, center leaning. That's good. Let's do this. New Jersey to officially ban cell phones in schools. Ramsey NJ picks 11. School hallways are going to look much different in New Jersey. On Thursday, Governor Phil Murphy signed into law a bell-to-bell ban on cell phones in schools. It's been a priority of his since he routed the support from the ban last year, State of the State address. Let's see what Lean Miller. I'm willing to bet this is a conservative, and I'll be pleasantly surprised if he's not. Governor of New Jersey is an American politician, financier, and former diplomat serving since 2018. Oh, he is a Democratic. Cool. So he's just old. Again, I don't really know how to mitigate the whole using phones for things they aren't intended for problem. But I do think phones are a problem that's not going away in schools. Or at least not until we fix some cultural things that make... Okay, so this is going to go down a tangent. I don't think that if we made education worth it again, that would immediately change people's outlook on education. It would take a generation or two of people proving it for it to become culture that education is important again. But it'll also be like, after that generation gets that success, they'll go right back to destroying it because these things work on cycles. Like the cycle we're currently in, where we're destroying everything because apparently we don't need them. You ever heard the joke, we never get hacked, so we fired our whole cybersecurity team? It's kind of like that. They've been successful like their entire lives, so they don't realize what infrastructure built their success. The previous generations, that is. And so they're comfortable getting rid of them because they don't realize what those things were doing for them. They just see it as government overspending that does nothing for them now. And so they destroy education, they destroy labor, they destroy minimum wage, they destroy all the concepts that built America because they don't think we need them. Or someone convinced them it's anti-American to support them. For example, in the case of unions. I'm actually in the middle of a union battle right now as I'm recording this because the job I work for, some butthurt workers about the way someone's honking outside. I'm gonna go check on that. Make sure that's not for me. So it turned out that it was just my neighbor with some mobility issues trying to get someone from her household out to help her out of her car. I walked out as soon as I saw her getting helped out, so I think it should be okay. Anyways, with the stroke of a pen, we'll achieve a goal that I believe is just plain common sense, banning cell phones from our state's K-12 schools, said Murphy Day, New Jersey. 3 days before Christmas, the bill to have districts adopt policies to ban phones in schools passed overwhelmingly in the Assembly and unanimously in the Senate. Well, before that, though, Ramsey was among the first school districts in the state to ban phones on their own. Cool, I did get enough saplings to replace the super tree. That's all I really care about. Phones, I liked having my phone in school. My mom liked me having a phone because it meant that she could reach me if something happened. And I don't trust authority. And that's kind of the whole reason I make this kind of channel, is I don't trust authority. So there's also that going on. But I would not trust a school to have my best interests at heart and contact my parents if something happened, especially if it's something that could implicate the school district or the school. I could ramble on about my bad experiences with high school, and you would learn a lot about the kind of person I was and the kind of environment I grew up in, but that'll be for when people start coming out of the woodwork to tell you about how shit I was. Because I was pretty shit. And that would be a good marker for the growth of the channel. So let's make that happen, guys. Like and follow and all that good shit. Like and subscribe. Hell yeah. Okay, so I got food. I got the farm. I forgot to grab the bucket, but that's fine. I would need 2 buckets anyway for what I want to do, which is create some new infinite water sources. I gotta rephrase how I say things, because I gotta plan on my mom watching these one day, and she does not know anything about Minecraft. Which is another reason I'm trying to break through with this episode the information to Minecraft gameplay ratio, so that someone could listen to this even if they don't play Minecraft and get enough news out of it. But that would be... I don't think I'm big enough for that kind of loyalty from fans yet, but it's something that would be nice if I had. But having a mom and a couple other family members who check out the channel is along the lines of support, I guess. Okay, that's nothing I need. And I'm out of torches. Oh, but I can make more. I can make so much more. Let's make more. Bada bing, bada boom, bada torches. This is a good path down, so I want to keep following it. Shading. There is a darkness modifier when you get deeper, so this is going to be hard. Also, I turned my webcam light off because I don't want it shining in my face, making it even harder to see things. Because the shaders makes it, although it makes it beautiful and moody, it does make it harder to see things than base Minecraft does. I installed something I'm going to try out next episode. If you have heard of Lunar Client, this is back to more Minecraft talk. Lunar Client is a new recent Optifine alternative. Optifine is a mod that's supposed to like supremely optimize the game so you get better frame rate, better render distance, yada yada yada. Lunar is a launcher client that's supposed to like do that exponentially better than Optifine does. I've seen people with potato PCs get like a 500 block render distance out of the Lunar client, and I'm excited to see how that works. I believe the 32 chunk render distance I have currently running is enough to make my world impressive to look at. Okay, that's 6 ingots. Let's see what's up here. Oop. That's what's up there. Enemies. Okay, let's go this way. I don't see torches this way. I also have already lost track of where I came from because I got too busy talking. Ooh, a mine shaft. Okay, now I need to absolutely make sure I know where I'm going on my way back, because these things get confusing. I know, like a fool, I planned on getting back through a, Oh, that is the river I came from. Okay. So I'm just going to build a stack of logs. And I'm going to put torches on it, on all sides. And this is the marker of where I need to go back up. Yeah, and I can find that. And bing, bing, bing. This will be like an arrow pointing that way. And I'll get this iron while I see it. I want to get enough for a full set of armor, and then oh shit, there's a spawner right there. Let's get rid of that before that becomes a problem. There's another one right there. I'll keep one so I can make a farm out of it later. But these guys are annoying and nasty. Because they do that. And they're smaller than normal spiders, so they have a hitbox that gets through 1 block gaps. Diamonds! Oh my god. I don't have my iron pick on me. Why? I'm so dumb. Okay, let me just mark that real quick. Hello, zombie. I'll fight you in a second. I just gotta light up the area. Ooh, iron. Hell yeah. Okay. Come at me, bro. Okay, I got plenty of iron to work with here. Ooh. And a cave. Not a cave, a geode. Okay. Let me see if there's more to this that I can read while I mine. Students! The students, Maureen Sweeney and Easy Popolo, say it was not seamless, but it was worth it. Oh yeah, I was going on a rant about how education isn't really worth it these days. I've been seeing posts on TikTok about like people migrating to the US wondering if it's worth even going to college. They've been hearing so much shit about how little a degree is worth. And there are degrees that are still worth it. You know, engineering's always going to be in demand because I would not trust AI with the life safety kind of engineering that is required for engineering, you know. That's lives in your hand. I guess I'll use spruce. I like to use dirt for scaffolds, but I'll use spruce. So I don't think... So engineering degrees, I don't think, are going to ever stop being worthless. Or are ever going to stop being useful. And that's going to last for a while. However, there are degrees where you used to be able to go straight into something, and now it's months and months and months of trying to find a job. And this could be like something as necessary as software dev. But if you're in something like... no one needs a math major unless you're going to be a teacher. Because they can find a more specialized math major, or they have calculators. Stuff like that. Ooh. And no one really sets you up for success anymore. Like, you get through college, your internships barely care about you. They just want you for your free labor, and then they ship you out. And next year, instead of hiring you, they just get more free labor. Because everything is about profits and not actually about respect and or your livelihood. It's all about the profits of one rich asshole somewhere. Always, everywhere, all the time. Because nothing's protected or sacred in America anymore. And especially not labor. I believe that if we had unions across the board, it would be different. Because I know that, like, for certain things, like I have a buddy that went to like the steelworkers union, and they did it. They covered his training and have been helping him help doing research on his behalf for him to find a job. Now it's not hiring season, so nothing's turned up yet, which is an issue. But that's a better scenario because he's already part of the union and they're working to get him employed. And our labor laws are just really weak because the unions aren't strong enough to policy government like they used to when a lot of the labor laws were laid out originally. Okay. I need coal. Actually, I probably have enough iron where I could head back now. Let me just finish this last little bit. Never mind. I'll just head back. Ah, you getting at me? How much did I get? 45? Oh, that's more than enough. Whoo boy. Was this the right hole? I don't think this is the right hole. Or did I just get off on the wrong... Ah, my God! Well, we're going to skip till I'm back here. Alright, I'm back. Most of the stuff can die as long as I get my iron back. Let me see what else. Okay, stuff did drop down there. Did I get my sword? No, I didn't get my sword. I'm gonna have to wait to get through these cobwebs. Okay, we'll just... time lapse. Let's clear out this. So I am going to still use some of these just to mark where I came from. Okay, got my iron. I only got one of my pickaxes back. I got both of these and that. I lost some seeds, I think, but that's fine. Got my hoe back. I got... meh, I don't need anything else besides most of this. So we're good. Yo, glow squid! Bet. Season 2, I'm building an aquatic base. Once I get there. Fuck you, man. Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh, why'd I stop? Oh, where's up? Where's up? I need to go that way to get out of here. Oh, that's a beautiful sight as always. I was about to murder that sheep, and I decided against it. I developed a soul. Shit. Do I have charcoal? Am I out of... Well, that's fun and dandy and nice and stuff. What do I have? Yeah, just burn the whole stack. Let me see what else I can find for you while that's going. Let's go... keep back to here. Ooh. U.S. judge dismisses lawsuit by Palestinian Americans trapped in Gaza. Interesting. These are American citizens. On Thursday, Chief Judge Virginia Kendall in U.S. District Court in Chicago dismissed an emergency relief lawsuit after finding evidence of an evacuation plan and that 9 Palestinian Americans were either evacuated or declined offers. In December 2024, 9 Palestinian Americans sued, alleging the government violated their equal protection rights and failed to evacuate Gaza amid destroyed homes and food shortages. The lawsuit names high-level officials, including former U.S. President Joe Biden, former Secretary of State Antony Blinken, and former Defense Secretary Lord Austin. The Council on American Islamic Relations and the U.S. State Department offered no immediate comment. The plaintiffs and their families remain trapped in Gaza amid the Israeli-Hamas war, which has killed more than 71,000 Palestinians and follows the October 7, 2023 assault that killed about 1,200 and abducted 251. The case highlights logistical and diplomatic obstacles as a judge said U.S. courts are ill-equipped to order evacuation due to coordination with neighboring countries, red zones, and the non-existent U.S. diplomatic presence in Gaza amid the October 7, 2023 assault. So we have vested interest to help Palestinians, is what I'm hearing from that. Okay, we're not. That's annoying. What if those people die? That's not going to be on my hands. That's going to be on the hands of a government that failed them. Oh, how many 8s is 48? That's 6 8s. Leans right, mixed factuality. Center, high factuality. We'll look at what the right's saying about this one. Judge dismisses suit demanding U.S. evacuate Palestinian Americans from Gaza. A federal judge dismisses a lawsuit demanding U.S. evacuation. Ruling that wartime evacuation decisions belong to the executive branch, not the courts. Well, that's incorrect, because all wartime decisions go to the House, not the, is it, what's the name? There's the executive, the judicial, and the, I should know this. Why don't I know this? It should be on the tip of my head. Congress? Legislative branch. Because it's the House that votes on wartime decisions. Which is why it's a huge deal that we went to Venezuela and stole a guy. Chief Judge Kendall of the U.S. District Court in Chicago. Chief Judge Virginia Kendall of the U.S. District Court in Chicago ruled that she lacked the authority and tools to evaluate delicate foreign policy decisions that belong to the executive branch, while noting her sympathy for the impossible positions in which many of the plaintiffs have found themselves. I understand that going and rescuing them would be going against our ally Israel, but Israel should not be an ally anymore. I'm saying they've manipulated us for 20 plus years now. They aren't much better than just a normal toxic ex. They argue that the destroyed homes, food shortages, and inadequate medical care, mental anguish, and other hardships created a mandatory, non-discretionary duty for the government to evacuate people from Gaza. But Kendall said that she was not equipped to determine how to coordinate an evacuation with neighboring countries, how to move evacuees through dangerous red zones, who qualifies for evacuation, or how the lack of a U.S. diplomatic presence in Gaza would affect the process. Kendall also noted that available evidence shows the U.S. government had developed an evacuation plan, and 9 places had already been evacuated or declined others that did not include immediate family members. Okay, that's different. Because if they had an evacuation plan, but it meant leaving their family behind, I probably would also not have taken it. But I understand the legal standing for, well, we tried our best and you guys didn't like it. I need 8. Give me that sweet, sweet iron. Get rid of these. Put on that. Well, the thorns isn't bad, and I could save the head for later. I'll throw that in here. It's nighttime. Time to sleep. Well, I can agree that if they were offered a way out and they didn't take it, that's kind of on them. But I can also say, in their position, I would have done the same thing. I would have continued fighting for the right to take my family out of the war zone as well. That is very respectable of them. I hate to say a both things can be true position on this, because this is terrible. But both things kind of can be true. But also, if we stopped trying to respect Israel, who does not deserve our respect, by the way, we could just go get them and their families, and it would be no issue. So there's also that. And I'm on that side more than anything. Let's throw that in there. I'm gonna need a new iron axe soon, so let's do that real quick. Give me that sweet iron. I'll meet you guys back once I'm waiting for saplings underneath the tree and we can look at another article. And I think that'll be the last one for this episode. Alright, so let's see what else we can find today. CES. What is CES? Health tech gadgets displayed at the CES trade show. What's CES? News about CES. Stay current with all the breaking news. Compare headlines. What is CES? Search with Google. The most powerful tech event in the world. Consumer Technology Association. What does CES stand for? There's an acronym that stands for several things depending on the context. Consumer Electronics Show. Great. Amazing. Thank you. Where is that? Dose of uncertainty. Experts wary of AI health gadgets at CES. So there is a conversation about the upcoming AI and its use in health. Because the health industry has to use every advancement possible. There is no room for an ethical dilemma about the consumption of water when it comes to saving a life. Generative AI is bad because it's replacing artistic skills. If it has any way that it can help humans live more productive lives, and that's to say there's an argument for it to be used in the health industry or the medicine industry, that is a good use case scenario for AI, as opposed to production and the profits of media businesses and all that. That's terrible. I mean, that's not saying doctors should lose their jobs. That's saying doctors should be trained to use AI to help save a life. There should be no one being fired because AI can do their job. There should just be being people who can use the assistance of AI, supervising the AI, and helping save more lives. Anyways, health tech gadgets displayed at the CES trade show make promises but raise concerns about accuracy and data privacy. Okay, that is a concern because in the health industry, privacy is a big issue for a lot of people. I think it was BetterHelp got caught selling information on patients to advertisers for targeted advertising campaigns. The Food and Drug Administration announced plans to relax regulations on low-risk general wellness products like heart monitors and wheelchairs. That's bad. To call it heart monitors, okay, we're not talking, are we talking pacemakers or just like heart rate monitors? Because maybe there's an argument for there, but there should be no relaxing of regulations on anything in the health industry. Every regulation is built on someone's death. That's how that industry works. Experts warn that while AI technologies have benefits in healthcare, they can also promote biases and provide incorrect information. This is also very true, urging caution and relying solely on them over medical professionals. Now, if the argument is whether or not a patient should seek help from a doctor or AI, the answer is obviously the doctor, because AIs have kind of a yes man syndrome where they just agree with you and make you happy and let you believe whatever you want to believe, to the tune of even convincing people to commit suicide or kill their loved ones, which are both cases that you can look up and find. Let me collect everything that's dropped here real quick, and then we'll talk some more. Or we'll replant and talk some more. Here's why. AI-powered health gadgets at CES 2026 are concerning experts. Here's why. Health tech gadgets displayed at the annual CES trade show make a lot of promises. A smart scale promoted a healthier lifestyle by scanning your feet to track your heart health. And an egg-shaped hormone tracker uses AI to help you figure out the best time to conceive. Are we talking generative AI, general AI, or like traditional AI? Because if it's like the kind of AI that predicts like what you're going to type next, like autocorrect, there is an okay case for that. Tech and health experts, however, question the accuracy of products like these and warn of data privacy use, especially the federal government eases up on regulations. I'm assuming that if it's like a handheld device, unless it's connected to the internet, which it probably will be because everything is nowadays, it's not going to be able to run generative AI on a device that small. It's probably going to be a simpler, more ethical version of an AI that doesn't try to make up things or imagine or hallucinate or mimic a person. It's just going to be, hey, we're going to run the numbers and think about it for a second and give you a calculated response. The same kind of AI that's used in autocorrect, the same kind of AI that runs algorithms to kind of look for YouTube videos that you might like. And that is not harmful AI. However, However, there is a concern to be had that is valid, very valid, but AI is growing at a rate where teaching people the difference between general AI, generative AI, traditional AI, and true AI is going to be so difficult that people are going to lump them together and start hating all of it, which will be bad for technology as a whole. You got to specify that we're only against generative and general AI that seek to mimic people and their creativity, because that directly takes jobs away from people who are already struggling to find jobs as it is. But we're not going to start hating Siri. We're not going to start hating autocorrect. Or we should start hating Siri because she's using ChatGPT like generative AI. But we should not start hating autocorrect. But finding out that autocorrect is technically AI is going to turn a lot of people off of autocorrect. And I mean, I was always off of autocorrect because autocorrect kind of fucking sucks. Let me replace trees. And we'll be back here in the morning to collect saplings. I didn't mean to do that. Ah! I believe that this is what I'm getting at, or what I'm talking about, I believe is one of the big reasons societies tend to fail, or empires tend to fail. Because I bet it was like similar for stuff during the Roman Empire, that they had inventions coming out too quickly to be understood, and so people didn't trust them, and so we had to go with only like roughly having a society for hundreds of years for people to adapt to all the technology that came out of the Roman Empire and to trust them and build generations of trust for them. Before humans as a collective unit were ready to start learning new things again. And I think we're coming up to that peak again, where we've started learning things, started inventing things too fast for them to be understood by the common person. And after the American Empire collapses and society is rough for like 400 or 500 or 600 years after that, and AI becomes commonplace, and solar becomes commonplace, and internet and robots and programming all becomes commonplace, so much that it's just trusted and understood by the average person. The same way people on farms know how to fix a diesel engine because they have tractors. Then we'll probably restart a good society that invents space-age technology that takes us across the universe, is how I imagine the future going. I think we're going to try and fail to reach that point, because we're going to reach a point where we just have so much technology and not enough time for each human to process it, that we're going to start hating technology. And we're not going to understand broader political things, and we're not going to understand anything because there's too much to learn all at once, and we haven't built a good process for learning it, and likely won't until we've had several hundred years to look through everything we've known and put it in a good order where people can actually learn it in a timely manner. I have a lot of time, and I just got a message I need to check on my phone, so I think I'm going to call it here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and stay a fan.